Hi, today we're going to look at example assignment 5.1b. In this example, we're looking at crop revenue assurance. In this problem, we will be comparing not only yield protection insurance, but also, like I say, the revenue protection, both with the harvest price inclusion and harvest price exclusion. So hopefully you have this assignment or this example available to you and you can go along, work on it as I explain it. What you have in front of you are three different scenarios. A scenario where we have an actual yield of 128 bushel per acre, 170 bushel per acre, 140 bushel per acre. And we have December futures price of $4, $3.25, and $6.50. And so that'll come into play when we look at revenue assurance here in a second. The APH yield for this farm, or actual production history for this farm, is 180 bushels per acre. So we will look at the scenario or the different crop insurance alternatives here. The yield protection here, basic revenue protection. This would mean harvest price exclusion. We're only looking at spring price in that example. And then the revenue protection with harvest price option or harvest price inclusion. So let's go ahead and take a look at these three scenarios with the three different crop insurance alternatives. Okay, in the yield protection example here, we have a February futures price of $4 a bushel with an 80% guarantee. As I said, our APH, or actual production history, is 180 bushel per acre. If we take 180 bushel per acre times 80%, that gives us a yield guarantee of 144 bushel per acre. Now remember, in yield insurance, we are only protected for a drop in yield, some type of natural cause that causes us to have a low yield for some reason. So remember, we have a guarantee of 144 bushel per acre yield. So let's look. Scenario 1, we have an actual yield of 128 bushel per acre. Okay, we're going to have a claim here because, again, we're guaranteed 144 bushel per acre and we only yielded 128. So we are going to be paid on a 16 bushel yield loss. Remember that 16 bushel yield loss, we're guaranteed a price of $4 a bushel on those bushels. So our indemnity payment or our insurance payment is going to be $4 times the yield loss of 16 bushels. 4 times 16 is $64 an acre. Scenario 2, we have an actual yield of 170 bushel per acre. Well, again, we're guaranteed 144 bushel per acre. Since our yield is well above our yield guarantee, we're going to get paid zero. We have no insurance claim. Scenario 3, we have an actual yield of 140 bushel per acre. Again, we are guaranteed 144 bushels per acre, and so therefore we are going to get paid on 4 bushel yield loss. 4 bushel yield loss on $4 a bushel gives us an indemnity payment of $16 an acre. Now, on the revenue protection example, we're not only get paid on a yield loss, but we're going to get paid on a loss of revenue. And we compute our revenue guarantee by taking the December futures price in February. The December futures price is $4 a bushel times our guarantee of 180 bushel per acre. And then we're going to multiply that by 80%. We're choosing an 80% coverage level, and 80% of 180 times 4, that would be 720. 80% of 720 is 576. So our revenue guarantee is $576 an acre. So let's see how this works. Scenario 1, we had an actual yield of 128 bushel per acre, and the December futures price is $4. So to compute our actual revenue, we look at our actual revenue will be our yield times price. So our yield was 128 times our December futures price of $4 gives us an actual revenue of 512. Okay. Now we're guaranteed 576, and we only had a yield guarantee. We only had an income of 512. So we have a indemnity payment coming to us of $64 per acre. All right. Now, scenario 2, we have a good yield. We have 170 bushel per acre yield. That's pretty close to our APH. But we have a major price decline. Price went from $4 a bushel down to $3.25. So, let's take a look at this scenario. Our actual revenue, again, is number of bushels times price per bushel. So 170 bushels times 325 a bushel gives us a grand total of an actual revenue of $552.50 an acre. Our guarantee was 576. So we're going to get paid. We're under our guarantee. We take our guarantee of 576 minus our revenue of 552.50 gives us an indemnity payment of $23.50. Now on to scenario 3. Remember in scenario 3 we have a low yield, 140 bushel per acre. But like in most times when we have a scenario like this, we have a low yield, which probably means other people have a low yield too. That can typically drive price up. In this scenario, corn went to $6.50 a bushel. So when we compute our actual revenue, we take our yield of 140 bushel per acre times $6.50. We take that 140 times 650 to get our actual revenue of $910. That's well above our revenue guarantee of $576. So even though we had a low yield and we were paid on yield protection insurance, we are not going to be paid on revenue protection basic. Let's go to our third insurance product here, revenue protection with harvest price option. With harvest price option insurance, what you are allowed to do is to use the higher of the December corn futures price either in February or November. So you'll see that in these scenarios we're actually going to have a revenue guarantee that actually increases by the end of the year. Okay, our initial revenue guarantee is the same $576 per acre, just like in revenue protection basic. So we have the same payments as revenue protection basic in scenario 1 and 2. We're guaranteeing the same $576 per acre in scenario 1 and 2, and we had the same revenue in scenario 1 and 2 as we did in revenue protection basic. So we were paid to bring us up to our revenue guarantee of $576. We were paid $64 an acre and $23.50 an acre. Now, on scenario 3, yes, we have a low yield, but price increases. So if we've paid the extra premium, we now get to increase our revenue protection by using the higher price. The December futures price in November is $6.50 an acre. So our revenue guarantee will be computed again. Instead of using $4, we get to use $6.50. So 180 bushel APH times 650 times 80% gives us a new revenue guarantee of $936 an acre. Our actual revenue was $910 an acre. So we are actually going to be paid an indemnity payment of $26 an acre. So even though we had a moderate yield, price went up. We get to increase our level of coverage, and we are going to be paid. So you can see in the three different products, we're paid differently in the three scenarios. In yield protection, we are only paid in scenario 1 and 3 because those are the scenarios in which yield was decreased. With revenue protection basic, we are paid in scenario 1 and 2 because overall revenue declined. Even though we had a good yield in scenario 2, our overall revenue was down because of price decline. With revenue protection harvest price option, we actually were paid in all three scenarios. The first two scenarios, because price decline and yield decline in scenario 1, cause us to have a decline in overall revenue. Therefore, we were paid to bring us up to our revenue guarantee. We also are paid in scenario 3 because our revenue guarantee increases with the fall harvest price. So hopefully this example was useful to you and helps you to understand yield protection and revenue assurance. As always, if you have any questions, please feel free to drop me an email, give me a call, or stop by my office, and I'll do my very best to explain and answer any questions that you may have. Good luck.